for July, I thought I'd start with what was fresh in my mind, especially as one of the themes is a possible confusion. So, July, I just want to read you what I asked, and we'll pull some cards as well, and I'll go over some of the things that I've heard from others, as well as what I've been talking about with the goblet effect, which I'd been writing a post on, so I think that's why some of this sort of brain stuff come through, but also because we've got, and I'll try and remember the astrology, but I can always look that up. But let's start with what I asked. What do I need to share for July was my question to my guidance, and what I wrote, or what came through, was waves. And I was like, really? What again? Because I was thinking waves, water. And that term is multifaceted in the fact that, yes, in terms of waves of light, but also in terms of waves being Cancer season, it's waves of emotion connected with water, and the association with water. And that theme, I've heard others talk about, is definitely a theme that's now for the next couple of years, like we've had the theme with the fire. And the aggression, the anger, and the connection with the emotion, as well as the physical. This is the same when it comes to the Pisces link in the astrology. However, and Cancer, why I've seen Pisces, there is a Pisces aspect going on, and I can't remember which, because I'm not an astrologer. I will recommend a couple of other videos that I've seen that were really helpful. But what came through for me, waves of light pushing through the body. My writing. Activating the crystal cellular memory and function, high frequency light coding and DNA patterns, reforming, resetting, re-establishing, reassembling, recalibrating to your new grid patterns and brainwave functions, as well as, and then I put that equals confusion versus connection, and that will depend on where you are on your journey and where on your journey and your soul path. So, and what just was coming through then, so brainwave function, oh hang on, what was it you were saying? Patterns, reforming, resetting, reassembling, recalibrating, grid patterns and brainwave function, not just brainwave function, but body function, physical function, and how the body functions in general. So this is all because I've been asking, like, why am I feeling pain? Why have I got, because pain to me I know is resistance. So why is there so much resistance? Is it because of the clutter and the energy around me? On a personal note, because I've gone back into a house I was grieving, leaving a house I loved, going back, and it felt like a kind of steps backwards. So there was this sense of grief and resistance coming up for me, that was sort of started here and then went through. And one of the things I want to talk about, that makes clarity and sense, is the fact that that moved through, and I know that I have a linked attachment to when stuff is happening in the collective, it happens within my body. And since Friday morning, I'd had huge pains, lower abdominal pains, through digestion issues. It was like major IBS versus wind trapped, extremely painful actually. And so I asked for guidance. What am I doing wrong? Assuming it was me doing something wrong. And it was, you're not doing anything wrong. So I wasn't asking the right questions though. And I have got the answers. This month, we need to really detox. And I thought I was doing detoxing. I mean, I've even started my little cucumber ice cubes there. I've added in cucumber. I hadn't had celery Friday, Saturday and Sunday, and I was like, surely it can't be because we ran out of celery. I've been having the cucumber as well, and now I'm having both. But my body wanted just juice. Like it didn't want any form of, not much food either over the weekend, because it was going through a reset. and it was like, oh my God, I feel like I've gone backwards for like a few hours, and then a few hours forth of having the lemon water still and my having the cucumber. What was the other thing I had? And I came back and I this morning had celery. I went out and got some. And so before I ate food and had physical food again in my body, which I have done now, because yesterday I just couldn't. And it wasn't because I was rejecting it. I just didn't feel like it. And it wasn't really hot here. It was actually a little bit cooler yesterday. It felt like that, no, that's not right for me right now. I just felt full. I was really struggling to eat, even think, not bad stuff either. And the pain was there. I was like, so what is this? What is this? The digestive system is digesting stuff. So relating what's happening to me to how that could be affecting you, what came up is there's a tendency, and this is for the light workers out there that I know view my channel, and those that are in surface, we have to now recalibrate boundaries. So one of those recalibrations is that you need to understand where your boundaries are for you, because as a light worker, as a healer, energy now is so dispersed in the collective that we might be attaching it to us. So we have to be true to not allowing that collective energy to get too much into our bodies. Certainly what I was feeling was happening. Also, in relation to, I put a link to the grid of my body and the grid of the earth, and hearing the earth through my body. So this relates to like India, the Far East, Pakistan, Kashmir, around that area, for what was going on within the path of the dragon, the path of the Kundalini of the energy, and the Kundalini of the body. So maybe there's something in that for this month. I haven't looked too much into that. I've detached from it a little bit because I realised, actually, what's my energy, what's other people's, and that's what it's about. What is your trauma or what's others? What is the collective trauma and what's yours? We need to clear that up and clear everything up, physically in the body, physically on the earth, and physically in the collective. But the light workers kind of need to take a step back almost and recalibrate right now, because the high energies coming in are changing, and they're waves. That's what the waves mean, so fast that some of you, if you didn't ride those waves during June, which we were talking about, I think I did the blog over on my Instagram. I'll try and link that below in the description, that where I was talking about that in June, so you know what I'm talking about. Then you might have felt like you were drowning almost. You might be like, for me, for example, here's a real life example, the boxes, like trying to get on top of everything. It felt like a very physical thing that was just bogging me under. Getting back on top of it now. Almost got the catio up for those of you that follow my story. So confusion versus connection, and connectivity, as opposed to like connecting with relationships, connection, our own structures. And I've been talking about this lots with astrology. And hang on, let's bring it back. Focus box. Where we need to understand this month, it's essential that you detox. If you haven't been detoxing and you're not doing it, your body, hence the pain and I couldn't eat, will force you to do so. Or you'll get to the point where you're so like, oh man, I can't take it anymore, I just got to get out in nature. You'll be at those points where you're forced to do it. So do it anyway. Do it. Schedule time for it if you need to, but make sure you're doing all those things. And those things are getting out in nature, surrounding yourself in crystals. You'll find the more that you start. I know that when I began my channeling path, and began to sort of connect on a deeper level to my multidimensional self, crystals became like new shoes for me. I'm surrounded by them. I just love having them around me. They're like little radio stations that help me maintain and kind of, and I'm not saying you have to go out and buy loads, but that was my thing. That was the thing that for me, having my stuff when I was doing live stopped when I had some, because I would feel the energy coming through. So I had to put my boundaries in place, and that helped me set those boundaries up. So however you do that, maybe it's you physically have time that you spend with family, or you physically have time that you spend with your self off, doing your hour in the morning or in the evening before bed. You work out what's relevant for you. So that was the first thing, the detoxification, but the detoxification in specifically of the body. Now, obviously, I've been on that journey, so that lights up for me. But the astrology now is pushing that too. So you'll find, like I did, that may be the case for you. So that was one of the things that I wanted to talk about. 639 hertz is the sound frequency. Another thing you can do to keep spaces clear. You'll often see me do smudging. It's the intention of it, and the intention of the smell, the intention of the sound. I listened to another channeler, and I did stop listening to everyone, but I like to know what the crystals are that are recommended by this person, by Jamie Butler. And she also recommends different scents, because the way that we perceive energy could be through sense and smell. It could be through frequency and sound or colour around you. Now, the chakras that she mentioned were the heart chakra and the solar plexus, the two that we're working with. So to get the energy, sunstone is good to have around you, but I would say it's the colours as well. You can surround yourself with colours as well as the scents. If you're wanting to have that relaxing time, and you'll want to take time out for you because you may find trouble sleeping, then lavender, pink quartz, all right, Gizzy, pink quartz, rose quartz. I would say getting out in nature, grounding, and doing all of your toolkit. Whatever it is you do, list it below if it's something what you do, because you might find that there's something that you used to do or you just forgotten, and I'm probably forgetting. So cleansing the water, crystals, grounding, walking barefoot. Like, so for example, when you hang the washing on the line, don't wear your shoes, just go out and go barefoot. So you get that. So you're doubling up and habit stacking things, and you're getting in and making that part of your routine. So, yeah. So going back into what I was saying about the more in-depth stuff with the crystal, cellular memory, function of high frequency, like coding DNA patterns, the reforming. It's the reforming, the resetting, it's letting go. There's huge karmic shifts this month. Resetting on all levels, because what's happening is you need to complete, me and you, I'm not just saying just you, but me too, anything that no longer serves us. And we do this every month. If you work with Moonology, or you've been following it, then you should be doing this as a matter of course, but this is a whole other level step up from that. It's friends that maybe you don't resonate with. You're going to start to see situations where that'll come up. No, actually, that really doesn't resonate. Don't really want that in my life. I don't like the tension. What was the thing I was thinking of? In terms of detoxification, it might also be, it came through earlier now. What was it I was thinking? I'm not quite grasping it. It's like, there's that thread and he needs to pull. There's going to be threads to pull within relationships, to take you down areas that you'll think, actually, yeah, really want this. That's a definite hell yes. Whereas this is a definite no. And it's like, it's going to be like, oh my God, I've been spending all this time doing that, and now I just don't want to do that anymore. It's just like, there will be moments of crystalline clarity this month that are clear, and then there's going to be complete and utter confusion, because the other thing that's happening is timeline merging. So for those of you in my Yesoi family who we've been discussing over the last however 6 months going, this is happening, and it was like, I swear that shop was this, and now everyone's like, no, it's always been that shop. And like, it's like, what? Am I going insane? Am I going crazy? That's that type of thing, because you're having all of these realizations. So it's so good to have our family group meetups, our monthly moon meetups, because we're all discussing these things that are happening, that if they were individually happening, and you weren't being able to express them, you might think you were absolute nuts. That's seeing the things out of the corner of your eye. So if you have never before seen subtle light energy, that might be something that starts to come in really strongly. The psychic Piscean energy, that Neptunian, that's all kind of real there this month. So, but what that causes is sometimes you might feel more tired. You might have moments of real clarity, but moments of complete confusion. And then after the effect, self-doubt. Even then, I was like, I'll be like, no, should I say that? They're going to think I'm crazy. The same way that when I was having my moments where I first started to channel light language, love language, I wanted it to be like, oh, that sound means this. And I was getting guidance coming through in the same way. They would say no, because it doesn't, you want to put meaning to it. You want it to mean this, that sound to mean that, but it doesn't, because it's a frequency. And subtle light energy is it affects the brain, it affects the light body, it affects us like a crystalline cave. And it's crystalline, it's this crystalline Christed structure that we're moving into, and states of being. And if you think of a crystal, look at all the different facets. The way the light hits it, it's different depending on the way it's being hit, the way it's being held. We are the same. And what I was talking about this month...
for 14 days.
Don't touch computer. It's the goblet effect. Okay, hang on. Okay. I'm gonna. Okay, you're all set.
Stay on page.
It just read you the post from my Patreon that I've just popped on the Patreon. This is the goblet effect, and I've put a picture up of the goblet that I was talking about. This goblet effect. That's. I'll let the computer say.
Deployed behavior. The 1,600-year-old glass goblet does something very magical. It changes color from jade green to blood red depending on the direction of its illumination. With the light source from the front, the goblet appears green. From the rear it changes dramatically to red. It does this because there are minute small particles of gold and silver in the glass. That contains tiny amount of colloidal gold and silver particles, which gives this cup the optical property. Its mystery was only solved in 1990, when researchers in England scrutinized broken fragments under a microscope and discovered that the Roman artisans were nanotechnology pioneers and have incorporated the AU and Ag particles and ground down until they were as small as 50 nanometers in diameter, less than 1,000th the size of a grain of table salt. The intricate design depicted the Essene in Greek mythology Lycurgus, king of Thracians, a man of violent temper. He attacked the god Dionysius and Ambrosia. Ambrosia called out to Mother Earth, who transformed her into a vine. She then coiled herself about the king and held him captive. The cup shows this moment when Lycurgus is entrapped by the branches of the vine, while Dionysus, Pan and a satyr torment him for his evil behavior. Though this is beautiful and interesting, it's not why I'm telling you about it. While I was watching a program on this, I got a download that this is what is happening to our body at the moment. The minute particle in our body, the crystals that are really small, act like the gold and silver do in the goblet with the plasmic phonic light.
Photonic light. Right, I used to retext that. But so that's the little post that I just put up in reference because I was talking about the goblet effect. And actually, there's I think it's mineralite. Actually,
brain crystal science. And I have been enthralled with
it's really
crystals
annoying,
ever since I was a child. What those medical crystals in the brain? Yahoo video search result. What are crystals in the brain? What are crystals in the brain? Yahoo search results. Unselected. No, I've got it. It was, I think it was on the video. It said the name of what these crystals are on the brain. But what they do in the brain is they help us. They believe, they're not 100% sure. They help to in animals, to like with dolphins and other, like direction and memory, long-term memory. And what was coming through is that, like, yes, it does, and it works with the magnetic field of the Earth with location. So that's all they know about these. They're actually like, what are they actually for? And there was this other thing about how the crystal structure of that was the one there on the science. Brain crystal science. Brain crystals. Unselected. There's a group of neurons in the. Let me read what that'll say. Imagine my renewed excitement when, as a budding neuroscientist at university, I learned that there was crystal-like neural activity in the brain. There is a group of neurons in the parahippocampal formation named grid cells that fire in hexagonal symmetry. So it's called no, I'm not even going to say that again. But it's the grid cells that fire this hexagonal symmetry. And I was like, well, what's that related to? Why is that even relevant to what we're talking about? And it's because, in what I was saying with the goblet effect, like this Roman goblet that was found, and then now they know why the light hits it and it changes the colour. It has this optical illusion. It's our way that we see, our illusion of reality is what is happening, not just in these particles and crystals in the brain, in the photonic waves of plasmic light that we're getting from the solar sun, how it's affecting the physical body, but the physical reality of everything around, the structures of reality that have tiny minute particles, the way we see things. And that's why we are leveling up. So we're kind of going, how do I want to relate to this relationship, want to relate to this work I'm doing, or this person that I'm being? Who am I? They're all of those questions. Right. So hopefully I've said, and I'm sure the other things will come back. And I definitely wanted to work with the dragon cards to also pull some cards for this month as well. And hopefully they'll realise when they come through the door that I'm live. Can you let Dad know I'm live as well, babe? So let's pull some cards. Same question, what do we need to share for July? That one wants to come out. So does that one. I haven't spread them out yet. Really. Again, yeah. That one, why, is Aqua. Neptune. Arcturus. I just love it gives you what we need to know. So Aquamarine Dragon from Neptune enables you to assess your deepest soul wisdom. Well, we're doing that on a deep level this month. Keys coming up. We literally need to get our own staff. It's like Poseidon's staff that he's got in his hand, that very sort of reminds me of Aquaman, and their vision of Atlantis under the ocean. There's definitely that under the ocean energy that's coming up on the opposite side of the world, of the globe, so linked to what would have been Mu so many thousands and thousands of years ago. That area has beautiful wisdom. So you've got spirituality and wisdom are available to you, developing your psychic abilities and receiving in
inevitable soul knowledge. So stepping into the multi-aspect side of ourselves, unlocking, this is the key. We are literally unlocking, and to unlock that, we need to purge. And I normally don't, I feel it's like, no, you shouldn't be telling people what they should or shouldn't do. It's an instinctive thing of knowing what's right for you. But what's coming through strongly and actually linked to the sort of shadowy side of the astrology as well is that we'll be forced to do that. So we'll be forced to detox. So it'll be a question, if you're not going out and maybe doing a juice or going outside, like I was saying in the beginning, you're going to feel so overwhelmed that you'll have to get out. You're like, oh, I can't breathe. I've got to go out of here. I've got to take space. Or a physical thing coming up that you won't be able to eat because there's a time, because the body's going, no, we need to like fast, or we need to juice, or we need to have more green vegetables, or you'll get your doctor going, well, you need to cut back on this. Or so there'll be things and situations that will be placed in front of you and forcing that to happen. And I think that's linked to that. But water, very, very, very relevant when I said about the waves, more like liquid light, but also physical water. There may well be flooding, and I don't want to go down into a negative view of that, but I think water in general, springs, water, rivers, a sense of awareness more about how we are polluting our rivers and how we need to clean up, taking more responsibility for that. This is the karmic thing that's coming up. We've got Saturn, it's the Lord of Time, it retrogrades, so it's a time to go over those things. And again, you need to look through what's the quality of water, of your body, your blood, what you're putting in, the water that you're putting in. I think there's going to be not enough issues, because I don't like to look at it, but just more awareness around water. I mean, we got a new fridge and it said it was a UV filter on the water, and I thought, well, what does that mean? Well, what's that about? I mean, I'm looking at like different canisters of water and how we contain water, and obviously avoiding the heavy metals, containers, more glass, less plastic, because the fine minute plastic particles, how things are affected on the micro, that feels relevant to water. But also the research around water, in how they found, nature's so beautiful, there's these micro things that eat plastic. So how it, yes, you can just message me, right to book a reading. So how it microplastics and things can eat the plastic itself. So it's cleaning up itself, which I think is just beautiful. And obviously Cancer, as July is linked to that. And then the themes of Cancer are very relevant to July. We've got the nurturing, but also think of the crab. It can go back, it can be crabby, so it can be irritable, but it can also go back into its shell, or need to go back into its shell. And that's what the light workers are needing. They're needing their reset. They're needing to recalibrate. They're needing to go, actually, time out for me. I need to limit maybe how many of in between, maybe when you're seeing clients, you might want to make sure you have scheduled breaks, so then you take time for you, and schedule it in like a client session. So it says there, session with self. So that's something that's relevant for July, and I think it's essential. I mean, Lee Harris has been talking about this and for a while, and I think us light workers, we keep going, and then we end up to the point where we can't, and then we go into this, because the butterfly is this symbol of this cocoon, and the cocoon is like it's the healing, the getting to the point where you just can't, so then it breaks out, that's the transformation point. That's the beauty of that. The fight against those waves, you suddenly decide, I'm not going to keep getting hit in the face with the water, I'm going to ride the wave. And that's humanity itself as a metaphor. Orange gold dragons from Arcturus, so opens you to knowledge for the new golden age, carries the energy of the future, be a guiding light. As a light, it's knowing, by doing this, by setting boundaries, by going, I need time for me. Yes, I can do that then, but I'll schedule this in for me because I know I have to have that time. I know I need to be juicing at the moment and making sure I'm eating the right stuff. So I've got to schedule time for that. I've got to make sure that there's that. Then you can be a guiding light for others. But also being a light is also, for example, with myself, I was getting really frustrated with the fact that I wasn't doing my live classes with the Qigong and that physically I didn't have the energy to do it. And I'm like, well, I'm not exactly an example, a shining example of health right now. How can I be showing? And what my guidance kept saying, no, you need to go live, even though you're like this, because it's important that people don't try and spiritually bypass the process and understand that that's part of the process, is working through it. And when you are cleansing, when you are purging, you're gonna get stuff coming up. Like you might get a dodgy stomach when you're clearing. You might have to battle through when the viruses or whatever you're clearing out start to fight back, or the resistance starts to come up, in order for you to move past it. So by demonstrating it, that's what they were saying. So hopefully that will be about the use. So if you, there's that one, if you were to look at the dragon, but it's also those stars, the little crosses, the lights in the sky. There are coming up, I can't remember the name of the distant stars that are about to supernova. So that's quite interesting. I think for a period of time we're going to have, oh God, what was the name of it? There's going to be another star that, not just Polaris, our North Star, that you'll see as the North Star that will be the brightest. This other one will be the brightest. They're not sure how long it will be, but they knew it went so supernova. So it takes such a long time for the light to hit us, of those stars that are exploding, that we'll be able to see that in our night sky. That's quite a magical effect. In fact, it was on my phone, so I won't be able to bring it up. There was two. It wasn't Betelgeuse. It was quite a distant galactic. So there's lots of stuff astrologically, not just in astrology, but cosmology happening in the space that's relevant this month. That's what I'm being reminded of. Anything else? Right, let's spread these up. Just those are the two that fell out. What we'll be doing for time, I'm going to try and keep it short. Everyone needs to preferring the shorter ones for this month. So dark blue galactic dragon. Oh, and also that was Arcturus. So that Arcturian energy there, and the Arcturians, gold and orange colours, the from the sun, and gold and silver, and that's what I was banging on about at the beginning about the goblet. What I've dubbed the goblet effect. So dark blue galactic dragon helps you listen to the voice of the universe. So while we're recalibrating, while we're going in this crab-like Cancer, that's when we can start to hear. That's when we start to hear, and we're going to be loud and clear this month, where it's what's coming through. Do you want to get past quickly? He's out in the garden. Sorry. Let my husband just go through. Sorry. Sip your tea at the moment. Don't call him fat. It's my little, or mine and the kids' capybara. Oh, you're not going back out there then?
No, I can't get the
Okay. Oh, yeah, physical clutter clearing for us in our household anyway. So light, ignite the codes of the master blueprint, access comet wisdom. Guys, I am live. I mean, I'm do you want to have your conversation upstairs, you two?
Not really.
Right. Help you listen to your voice of the universe. Oh, now everyone's going to come. All right. I'm good. What was it that I was listening about? Yeah. The other thing is that spirit is going to be really loud. So even if you've never heard guidance coming in, you might start to go, did I hear that? What was that? I just heard a word. Or, oh, did I see that? And start to question it. That's what I was saying about the confusion versus connection. Connection is big. And listen to your emotions, because your emotions are telling you. It's your emotional guidance system. Abraham Hicks fans out there, like Big Fish is coming to the UK, well, to Scotland next year. So I'm excited about to see Esther. Ignite the codes of your master blueprint, access cosmic wisdom, and enter high service. Those of us that have been called all the star seeds, really, excuse me, called and are now coming into, like, this is what we're here for. We've got the Sophia energy coming in and all the beautiful goddess energy that's coming up. Listen to that, because she's speaking, however you deem the universe, source, whatever you call it. Sorry, I go in between all of them. So it hits wherever it needs, depending on who's listening live, 10 into me. So she's speaking to you, the universe itself, the consciousness, the aspect that is basically you. It's you that's talking to you. You are the goddess. You are those divine beings that we become, super past, present, future. That's what you need to listen to. Whether it's, if you're less esoteric, if you want to speak in terms said another way, listen to your intuition. Codes, lighting your master blueprint. That's what I've just said about, in the fact the DNA pattern, the light codes, and how it's physically affecting these cells in the brain wave and the grey matter with the right and left brain hemisphere. I was trying to look up the science of it so I could speak more about it in a more mechanical. Everybody's now wanting to let both of you off. Everyone. Soon, fingers crossed, we've got the top of it over. We need the little rings, so I'll be able to open the door. They'll be able to go out. There'll be less frustration from them. They want to desperately go out. So one more card for this month is, I can feel the 3D life calling me back. And that's the other thing. Being able to be anchored in this high energy, beautiful high energy. So hang on. So we've pulled one more, but I want anything else from this. He's holding a bag in there, collecting that light. You want to be the cup. This month is the cup. You only give from the saucer. That's the expression. I can't remember who said that offhand. It was one of my Transformation Tuesday quotes, which hopefully soon we should have those cards out. Access this wisdom. So allow yourself to listen. 5 minutes a day. Set a timer. Have a few minutes. We'll do it just at the end of this, and I'll obviously do meditation Monday in a separate. I'll end this session and then do another live for that. Earth Dragon. Clear your path and the land around you. Well, for me, that's a physical thing with the moving house, but this could be just simply clearing your diary, clearing your schedule, clearing the backlog on the computer, defragging your hard drive. It's those very real things. The land around you as well, and the rivers. Remember I said water, and that's going to be a theme for especially July, but going forward to 2026 as well. Be aware of the water around you, the springs around you, and how you can maybe help clear it. What springs do you maybe have that you can maybe go to gather water to have as sacred? Sacred is a word that gets battened about. I was trying to think whether that would come back to me about that other thing, that it was about the detoxification of not just, oh, that was it. You might find, whereas before you might have been even okay with a bit of gossip, or you might have listened to something, maybe it's even your favourite show. Now, the frequency of that, you just can't be around it. I went through a period when I was first shifting that I couldn't be around certain energies. It's not that you won't ever be able to be around that again. It's where it's a bit like me as a demonstration. Where I've had this thing, any kind of chemicals at the moment, where I'm heightened, can't go near that carpet, the fibers in that carpet or the chemicals in there. It's just little things, really reactive. That's the way. You're super sensitive and reactive to certain types of energy. When you start to become, the reason you get super sensitive, it's like why empath gets with emotions, and is when it's clearer. Then you start to set the boundaries, so you understand your energy, understand someone else's energy. I used to get confused. A lot of people would think, oh, it's the collective energy, and you take it on board and you think it's your own energy. Once you start to be able to discern, which we've spent a few years doing, hopefully, or you might be coming into doing that, then you know what's yours and you can own that. And there's this subtle lightness of this, or the like subtle light energy in itself, or the subtleness is that we are now starting to discern between the relationships of energies of others around us and what we want around us. That boundary thing is important. It's important, as it says, to stay grounded, be ready to serve, so you're ready to serve from your source sun, as long as the cup's full. And stuck energy, it's clearing this month, so that might be physically clearing, if like throwing up and other stuff. Allow yourself to think, well, okay, I'm purging. Allow the body go, thank you. Not like, oh, I'm resistance, I'm low down. Give it what it needs in those times. Your vitamin C, your green leafy vegetables, your juices. What it's going to demand it. And my body certainly has been. You can move forward then in your life, because there's definitely going to be jump points this month. Propellers. And water again, that's like water shifting, moving, fast moving. Also the watery lines of the earth, and that energetically you've got the high galactic blue, which is like a lapis blue. My necklaces are all mixed up, but like a lapis blue, you can't really see that deep blue. That colour, if you see colour, I see energy in terms of colour in that sense. And the aquamarine is quite strong. You've got the earthly grounded browns, neutrals, getting out in the mountains. I'm seeing waterfalls happening, and allow yourself to bounce off. This image that I'm being shown is like tennis ball. You don't want to be stuck going back and forth with all of the old stuff, because you're focusing on, oh, I'm going within, and this is what this means, and that means that because that issue from my past. You don't even need to do that. You just want to get out and think, when you're in a situation, it's like when you walk into a room and you think, I don't vibe with this, I don't feel right. You don't need a reason. You just kind of get out of it, like, okay, I'm going to leave. I'm just like, it's not for me. And that's what, give your excuses if you feel you need to, but I don't think you'll feel you need to. Start trusting what's right for you. So, is there anything more I need to say for July? We need to know. Okay, well, let's just take a moment then. Let's just have a moment here for July's energy. I will do a proper long meditation separate from this, but so we'll just do a few minutes. So closing the eyes down, connecting to heart space. Oh, what's just come through? What? Let's do this first though. So as there's going to be some merging of timelines, and maybe some confusion of stuff, just allowing ourselves that whatever happens, we're calling in the highest versions of ourselves for this month. And out. ourselves and others around us to be the best that we can be. Breathing in. Breathing out. I want you to feel light flowing down, like soft rain. I'm going to have to... off. Out of it. He's having a tantrum because he wants to go out there. Apologies. Let's start that again. It's what, like pets. They say don't work with pets and kids, don't they? Normally I'll be like, oh my God, I'll have to re-record it again in the old days. Now I don't care. I'm sorry. Apologies. I am, as you may have not noticed, I'm certainly not one of these polished people. What you see is what you get. And I'm about being authentic with my channel. So I'm going to leave it there. I think I will recommend you go to our meditation Monday, and I will be live shortly when I've sorted them out. They're calling for my attention. So I'm going to allow that. But just in this moment, all you need to do is just put your hand on your heart and just breathe and connect to you. What I was going to say is visualize soft rain energy falling over you, like Reiki. That's how I sense Reiki. It's like gentle rain when it's coming through, when someone's giving me Reiki, falling all over you, rather than drowning you, just making you feel refreshed, reset, restored. Rest and digest is important for this month. That's my message for July. Love and blessings. Thank you for your patience. Give us a like if this resonates with you, and I will see you for Meditation Monday shortly. Take care.